What's going on? Are we live here? Are we live? Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow. Yes. Okay. Let me just go ahead and get in here with it, right? So Kevin McCarthy, for those of y'all that watching my videos before, you notice I call Kevin McCarthy. Sometimes he sounds like he's going to, do right by the American people. Then sometimes he sounds like, I question him. Maybe right now he's saying this because he wants to confirm his seat when it comes to, sitting on, being the House Speaker. Maybe this is what this is all about. You know what? But you know what? We'll take it, right? We'll take it right now. We'll take advantage of it. This is the reason why he's doing this. And I think it's good. I think it's good. It kind of reminds me of what Ted Cruz. Remember Ted Cruz? He got caught up, kind of siding with the left on a particular thing. You remember that? You remember, going after Americans? You remember that? Well, it bit Ted Cruz in the backside. So what Ted Cruz ended up doing, he came out hitting hard, and he's been hitting hard ever since. And I told everybody, I said, this is going to work into our advantage because Ted Cruz, he know that he made a terrible mistake, and he's going to come out hitting hard every single time after that. And that's exactly what is taking place. Ted Cruz come out hitting hard, but now we have McCarthy. And, I have my reservations about McCarthy because he allowed the Democrats to control which Republicans sit on which Republican committees. Never happened in the history of the nation, to my understanding. But he allowed it to happen. But now it's coming back. It's coming back on the Democrats, and they're not happy about it. They're upset. So I want to start off with tonight with this absolutely positive video from Kevin McCarthy. I love it. Now, again, I want him to stick to his words. I want him to hold up to what he's saying. I don't want him to back down at all. Do not back down. You come out, because if Kevin McCarthy and the rest of the Republicans do not, because they have the House, if they don't stand up now, we will forever lose our country. Did you hear me? We will forever lose our country if they don't stand up now and go full on Republican on them. Right? Because, see, the Republican Party is the party that was actually fighting against tyranny. The Republican Party is the party that actually fighting against slavery. The Republican Party that was fighting for you and I to have a voice. That's the Republican Party that I want to be a part of. And McCarthy, he's saying all the right things. Now, listen to what he says here, because he's putting an ultimatum out here. And the Democrats, they're highly upset with it. They cannot stand it. Listen.
Our country may never recover from Secretary Mayorkas' dereliction of duty. This is why today I am calling on the Secretary to resign. He cannot and must not remain in that position. If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry.
You hear this? This is how McCarthy should have been 2 years ago. This is how McCarthy should have been ever since. And again, I'm saying I still have my reservations about McCarthy, and I'm pretty sure many people do, right? Because of what he's done in the past. But can we forgive him? Can we give him the benefit of the doubt here and hope that he's going to stick to his words here and hope that he's going to stick to his guns? Can we give him the benefit of the doubt and say and expect him to do what he says he's going to do? Because come on. As it stands right now, he's going to be the Speaker of the House, regardless if we like it or not. Okay, regardless if we like it or not. If he's going to be the Speaker of the House, I want him to put his foot down on what the Democrats have been doing to this country. We need them to put their foot down. The country can only take so much of this. It's only so much that the American people can go through, can sustain. Now, of course, McCarthy, that speech was on the southern border. It's on the southern border, and all the cameras had to show up, right? The cameras showed up. See, Kamala Harris, which is the border czar, well, she used to be the border czar until she handed over to some other dude, and then Mayorkas fired the other dude because he did a poor job, right? I mean, how does that work? Kamala Harris said, well, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to get caught up because the border is going to be a certain situation, so I'm going to pass it on to this other person and let this other person take the job, and then Mayorkas came in and fired the other person for doing a poor job. When Kamala Harris is still the border czar. But she didn't get fired. You see how that worked? You see how that worked? But anyways, McCarthy goes to the border and he shows up. Again, Kamala Harris hasn't shown up to the border. Joe Biden hasn't shown up to the border. But Kamala Harris, she's happy to go other places. But she won't concentrate on America. That's obvious reasons. They don't like America. I mean, come on, think about it. So the cameras follow McCarthy down there and the Democrats are upset. So you have Karine Jean-Pierre literally calling McCarthy going down to the southern border a political stunt when she know good and well that Biden, Kamala Harris, Mayorkas, none of them have visited the southern border. None of them are trying to get it in order. McCarthy and the Republicans, they need to put their foot down. Listen to what she says.
You know, I've heard that Mayorkas is, that Kevin McCarthy is at the border. And the question that we have for Kevin McCarthy, who's soon to be Speaker McCarthy, what is his plan? What is he doing to help the situation that we're seeing?
Okay, let me help you out. Do you remember the time when President Trump was in office? Do you remember? See, they have amnesia. They can't remember anything from one week to the next unless it has something to do with wokeness. Then they'll remember that. They never forget it. But when it comes to actually protecting the American people, protecting our nation, they seem to grow amnesia. President Trump was working on the southern wall. He was having the wall go up, but the Democrats kept getting in the way, trying to prevent President Trump from building the wall, completing the wall. So then that way we would be protected here in America. The fentanyl was not coming into the country though, like it is now. But see, that's what they want. And I've told many people about this before, that the Democrats, they want destruction. They want chaos. It's like they need it because that's what the Antichrist needs before the Antichrist shows up. And they want the Antichrist to show up as their savior. A lot of y'all, whoa, what is Will talking about the Antichrist? These people are evil. They're evil. And she's sitting there saying that McCarthy is politicizing the southern border when the Democrats have done nothing but made it worse. Truly, done nothing but made it worse.
What is his plan? He goes down there and he does a political stunt like many Republicans do, that we have seen them do, but he actually is not putting forth a plan to help us deal with an issue that we're all seeing, that you all are reporting.
You hear this? Yeah, they're reporting on it. They're reporting on it, right? They are reporting on it because it's actually happening. They're reporting on it because it's an issue. The southern border is an issue. It's been an issue for over 2 years now. It's been an issue, but it got really, really, really bad after Joe Brandon. It got really bad. Why aren't they trying to stop the fentanyl from coming in the country? You know, Karine Jean-Pierre actually said that they're stopping all the fentanyl from coming into the country. They're stopping the fentanyl before it hits the streets of America. She actually said that. So I'm glad that McCarthy went down there. And again, let me be clear about something. I didn't want McCarthy to be the Speaker of the House. Let me just be clear. But it looks as it stands as right now, regardless if we like it or not, it looks like he's going to be the Speaker of the House. And maybe he's just saying all of this so we can think that he's on our side. Maybe he's just saying it, kind of like Mitch McConnell. Y'all know who Mitch McConnell? Mitch McConnell the same way. I don't really trust Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Mitt Romney, Adam Kissinger, Liz Cheney, McCarthy. I really don't trust them. Dan Crenshaw, because they all have done stuff that has gone against the American people, just to be clear. But it is what it is. I'm hoping that McCarthy grows a pair and proves all of us wrong that he was the wrong choice. That's what I'm hoping for. Because look, again, I'm being straight up here. McCarthy is not my first choice. He's not my first choice. But it is what it is. Let me show you this one. So let me ask y'all a question. If you're the press secretary, right? Not that I'm the press secretary, and I don't even care to be the press secretary, but I probably should. I could do a lot better job than her. But anyways, that's the point here. If you're the press secretary and you have people from the press there asking you questions, your job is to answer the questions that the press is asking. Am I missing something? Please, someone let me know. Am I missing something? Isn't that the job of the press secretary, to answer questions that the press may have? Because they ask questions about different events, different stuff that's happening in America, not just America, but across the world. That's the job. You go out there, you're supposedly representing the guy in the White House, so you can answer questions while the guy in the White House can go take a nap. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't that the job of the press secretary, to take questions from the press? Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Am I? Yeah. But listen to this. This is Karine Jean-Pierre being asked a question. She's being asked a question, right? And being a press secretary, you expect her to answer the question.
I will not call on you if you yell. And also, you're taking time off the clock because Dr. Fauci has to leave in a couple of minutes. I'm done. I'm not getting into a back and forth with you. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Dr. Fauci.
Now watch this. Now the press corps is finally getting the picture here that they've been hoodwinked from the get-go. And what I don't understand is what took them so long. What in the world took them so long? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Did they think that this was normal? Their family is going to be affected by the stupid stuff that they're doing here as well. Now, listen to this interaction. This is interesting.
Dr. Fauci,
but she's asking a great question. You ask your question, you should allow her to answer the question. She's asking a valid question, Dr. Fauci, on the origin of COVID-19.
It is not your turn. It is not your turn.
You can't.
They're asking questions. Just answer the question for the press corps and move on. Or do I don't have anything for you at this time. I don't have anything for you at this time. I don't have anything for you at this time. I don't have anything on it right now. I don't have anything on my tablet right now. Let me get back with you because I don't have anything on that. Do that. But they don't want to ask Dr. Evil. They don't want Dr. Evil to answer any questions. Why not? Isn't this what this is supposed to be about, right? The American people should be able to answer questions. Look, we don't want to look, all we want is the truth. Is there something wrong with that? Oh, yeah. I know it's a loaded question. But all we want is the truth. Please, just give us the truth. But they sound, and look, Karine Jean-Pierre sounds just like a little child. I'm not going to call on you. You're being mean. You're not being nice. That's what she sounds like. Am I wrong? Listen to her. It's just like a child.
COVID-19.
It is not your turn. It is not your turn.
It's not your turn. Come on. Look at this. It's not your turn. Stop it. It's my ball, my podium. It's not your turn. Really, people? Is this what we become? Is this what the press secretaries look like? Answer the questions. You get out there so the press corps come in and ask questions and just answer them. She's really good at lying. Continue to lie. But see, they don't want the questions to be asked because they don't want the American people to hear it.
You can't read a press briefing. You need to call from people across the room. She has a valid question. She's asking about the origin of COVID.
I hear the question.
And Dr. Fauci is the best person to answer.
I hear your question, but we're not doing this the way you want it. This is the disrespectful. It is.
It's not about, and you know what? The way they want it, and you know what? From what I'm gathering here, the guy, he has an accent. Like he's from another country or something, and he's asking the question. He's saying about the other lady that was asking the question, and he's sticking up for the other lady in the press corps. Am I getting right? Is that what y'all are hearing? Because that's what I'm hearing. He's saying she asked a legitimate question, and they don't want Dr. Evil to have to answer any questions. That's what, listen.
She has a valid question. She's asking about the origin of COVID.
I hear the question.
And Dr. Fauci is the best person to answer.
I hear your question, but we're not doing this the way you want it. This is the disrespectful. It is. I'm done. Simon, I'm done. Simon, I'm done. I'm done with you right now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Don't ask those questions. I know she's trying to ask a legitimate question, but I'm done with you. Don't stick up for your colleague over here. I'm done with you. When did we become a nation? When did we become a people to where we can't ask questions? Just because you don't like the question doesn't give you you should not be able to be in a position to say, no, I don't want to answer that. Especially if you're the press secretary. Give the answers. Allow people to ask questions. This is what dictators look like. This is what a dictatorship looks like. This is what a regime looks like. This is what tyrants look like. Oh, I don't like your question, so you need to move on. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna talk to you. Nah. I mean, really? I know what it is. I know what it is. Will Johnson, you're just making this out to be nothing. It's nothing there, right? I'm just showing you the video. That really didn't happen. No, that didn't really happen. Of course it didn't. They just did all that stage so Will Johnson can talk about it. Really, yeah, that's what they did. They just did it so I could talk about it and you could talk about it and I can show it to you. Just like children. We're in a serious situation in this country and they're actually arguing, bickering because someone wants to ask a question that you don't like. That's where freedom of speech even comes in. Freedom of the press. Maybe she missed that part. Freedom of the press. And she's saying, well, this is not how it's supposed to work. Yes, it is. We ask questions. You answer the question. And if you can't do the job, then get off the podium. Get off. Right? Let me share something else with you that's really disturbing right now, because you know what? The Biden regime and the Democrat Party, they have done so much damage to the American people, to this country. It is remarkable. It's actually like unbelievable. Like, I go out and I go shopping, and I go to the different stores and stuff like that, and I'm looking at people and I'm just wondering, do they actually know what's happening? Because some people just walk around oblivious like this, just walk around like this. They're like, oh, I don't see nothing. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear about it. Right? Listen to this story. Our U.S. railroad could come to a screeching halt. And you know what happens? Do you know what would happen if that happens? Do you? I don't think people understand how devastating it would be if the railroad came to a complete halt.
Well, we begin with the growing threat of a rail strike right in time for the holiday season. It's yet another potential crisis for the Biden administration. But in just a few hours, the president will head off to Nantucket for his Thanksgiving vacation. You'll remember before the midterms, he took credit for averting a strike after the White House helped broker an agreement with the unions. Well, that deal, it just fell apart. And we are now just weeks away from the potential shutdown of our nation's railways. That could have dire consequences for our economy, costing more than $2 billion a day. That's
$2 billion a day with the B. Now, this comes on the heels of our diesel possibly completely running out. The diesel, they've been reporting this, and they said by Thanksgiving, it looks like that we're going to be extremely rare on diesel. So we have diesel running out. The gas prices are going back up. And now we have this issue with the railroad. And of course, the Democrats see nothing wrong here. And they try to act like they play it off.
Lot could derail our supply chains and leave American consumers paying the price. Here's former Trump economic advisor Steve Bohr.
Inflation is bad now. Wait until we have a rail strike. I mean, so much of the goods and services that we purchase are delivered on rail. If that strike happens, the supply chain problems obviously are going to get much worse.
So how is the White House responding? Take a look.
Before we do that, before we respond to that, before I share that, y'all hear him. Y'all heard him, right? People don't understand. I think people have not been paying attention to how bad it can really get. And we can see it get really bad. This is not good. This is not good. And of course, the Democrats try to act like, oh, they're doing everything. We're doing everything for the American people, for the families, which is a total lie. 100%.
The president remains focused on protecting, like I said, American families, farms, businesses by avoiding a rail shutdown. We continue to urge both sides to finish their work in good faith and avoid even the threat of a shutdown, as we've been saying. But like we do for all issues, our team is preparing and planning for all possible outcomes, even as we continue to work to avert a shutdown. But our priority is making sure that we even avert the shutdown.
Really? How many of y'all actually believe anything that's coming out of Karine Jean-Pierre's pie hole? How many of y'all actually believe anything that she's saying? How many of y'all believe what the Biden regime is saying? I would love to hear it. Leave me a comment. I've been going through and just looking at the comments. I don't reply to all of them, but I've been looking at the comments. Leave me a comment if you actually believe in the Biden regime, anything she just said. I want to read it. I really do.
So if this sounds very familiar, Emily, it should, because we just went through this right before the midterm election. Here's President Biden and what he had to say then. He was taking a little bit of a victory lap on averting the shutdown the first time.
This agreement can avert the significant damage that any shutdown would have brought. Our nation's rail system is the backbone of our supply chain.
And he also tweeted to the Wall Street Journal, thanks for your concern. To answer your question, yes, the trains are running on time. But here we are just weeks later, just over a month later.
Yeah, talk about Amtrak Joe prematurely spiking the football.
Amtrak Joe, Beijing Biden, China Joe, right? This is just weeks, right? And you know what's really interesting is that this is a union. Aren't unions typically, woke? I've never been part of the union, so I don't know. But this is a union we're talking about, and they're having issues with the Biden administration or the Biden regime. What's really going on? What's really going on here? They were talking about unions having an issue. But you know what's even more interesting? Is that now that the Republicans are going into the House and the Biden regime is just crumbling, right? I just showed you Karine Jean-Pierre. She's up there fighting, cat fight, row, row, row. She's all upset because they're trying to ask a simple question. And these are questions that we all want to know answers to from Dr. Evil. I mean, these are just questions we all want to know the answer to. And for the press corps to ask those questions is just really, you know what? I think I guess it's better late than never. But they should have known this a long time ago because they claim to be intelligent, really smart, on the up and up. They're supposed to know all of this stuff. But, it's taken the press corps a really long time to figure it out. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But anyways, Biden and the Democrats, you know what they're going to say? They're going to blame the Republicans from here on out for everything that has gone wrong in the country. The high gas prices, the energy costs, the food prices, the open border, the fentanyl, over 300 people dying every single day. They're going to blame the Republicans for all of that. They are. Listen to Judge Jeanine as she describes how they're going to do.
He is making some sense. But, Joe Biden came in. I always go back to this. He came in the Trojan horse. He was the moderate, but he wasn't the moderate. And even today, one of the members of the squad wants him to run for president again. You could say that they may not yet have assigned blame, but what Joe Biden is going to do for the next 2 years is blame the Republicans. He's blaming the Republicans for the student loan thing when the question is whether or not it's even legal. And, he's blaming Putin for something, as you say very, very correctly, that we can take care of our own domestic energy production. All right. So who's to blame? Biden's to blame for the fact that we went from energy efficient to not having any domestic energy.
You mean energy
independent, to not having any now, and begging to the Saudis and then the Venezuelans and everyone else to give us oil. So, it is devastating. This rail thing is devastating. It's a Trojan horse again. I came out and I really took care of this possible rail strike that's going to cost us $2 billion a day if it doesn't go through. Yeah, and I did my victory lap, but it really wasn't well, and it didn't work, and you really didn't close the whole thing as it relates to the loans, and you really didn't, you haven't done anything for domestic energy production. And so stop blaming other people. You've been lying since you were in the Trojan horse.
I didn't see Biden as a Trojan horse, but I get what she's saying. That a lot of people, especially like Mitch McConnell, because even Mitch McConnell stood on the floor and said that he thought Biden was going to be more moderate. He thought Biden was going to try to bring the country back together. Mitch McConnell's an idiot. Mitch McConnell's a straight up idiot. I mean, there's a lot of them that are saying, oh, he's going to bring the country back together. Reason why a lot of them thought that Biden was doing that, because Biden is part of the establishment and they wanted the establishment to come back. They wanted establishment rule, right? That's what they want. And that's what they thought they were going to get with Biden. But Biden has gone so far left that the squad is controlling him, right? They're controlling him. They really are. So now we have Biden, which you heard Judge Jeanine just bring up the student loans. So what do you think Biden is saying about student loans? Because there's a federal judge here in the state of Texas that actually said, yeah, no, you cannot dish out money for people who took out loans because it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. But you know what? They're saying, well, we don't care what the judge says. We're going to do this anyways. Listen to Biden.
Student loan payments pause is going to end. It's going to end December 30. I'm extending to December 31st, 2022, and it's going to end at that time. It's time for the payments to resume.
You hear this? He's saying it's time for the payments to resume. What? So the federal judge says it's unconstitutional, which it is unconstitutional. They know it is unconstitutional. They know that it is. And yet they're saying that we're going to still do it. So what money, this is the question I have. What money do they tap into? What bank system do they go to and say, okay, send money here and here? What bank system are they doing? Is it the Federal Reserve? I don't think I have ever heard anyone ask that question. When they do this, where do they go? Is it the Treasury? Maybe that's what it is, right? Maybe someone just said it. Is it the Treasury? Is that what it is? Go to the Treasury. How much is in the Treasury right now? Because last time I looked, we were $31 trillion in debt. So how much do they actually have in the Treasury? Or is it they just type in the numbers on the computer and say send it out? I bet you that's what's happening here, because they're not backing this up by the gold standard. And again, it is completely unconstitutional. Well, listen to, that's not the one I want you to listen to. This one here. Karine Jean-Pierre talking about the student loans. Listen to what she says, because she's at the press, in there and answering questions, supposedly. But listen to this. This woman should resign immediately.
On your question, a student loan, are you talking about what specifically? Just because you said 2 weeks has passed, but as you know, we have sent this up to the highest court of the land, the highest court of our nation, to make sure that we move forward quickly with making sure that the student loan relief that the president put forward, his plan, gets to the American people very quickly.
If it goes up to the highest court of the land, which is the Supreme Court, they should automatically rule that this is unconstitutional. It's not constitutional. That's the reason why a federal judge here in the state of Texas was able to stop it, because it's not constitutional. It's not constitutional. So she's up here bumbling. It's really embarrassing.
Specifically, just because you said 2 weeks has passed, but as you know, we have sent this up to the highest court of the land, the highest court of our nation, to make sure that we move forward quickly.
I mean, really? And see, you know what? I'm willing to bet there's people out there right now upset with me because, Will, how dare you do this? How dare you say this about Karine Jean-Pierre? How dare you play those videos? Really? She's the one up there like that. She's the one up there not able to answer a question. She's the one up there saying, well, we don't want to answer those questions, but if you got woke questions for us, we'll talk about that. But we don't want to talk about the real stuff that people want to know. This is a major problem. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just Will Johnson that sees all of this crazy stuff, and I'm just sharing it with you because, hey, this is just my point of view. Maybe that's what it is. But you're looking at the same thing that I'm looking at. Here's another one. This is what Joe Biden, I just put this up on the screen a second ago, but this is Joe Biden, and he's standing there next to a family, and from what I can tell, there's a family, is a Hispanic family. Maybe the mother, she look like she might be white, but it's not important, or it shouldn't be important, right? Imagine President Trump if he said the same thing that you're about to hear Joe Brandon say. Just close your eyes for a second. Just pretend. Just bear with me. Pretend. We're pretending here. Pretend this was President Trump saying the exact same thing. Just pretend, okay? Come on now. Play role.
Imagine. This has to be boring for these kids to stand up here.
It's scary too. I mean, sniffing and everything. But listen.
You're allowed to do anything you want, including go steal a pumpkin if you want. Anything you want to do.
Including go steal a pumpkin? Can y'all imagine? Will y'all play role? Will y'all role playing here? Can y'all imagine if President Trump said that? Can y'all imagine if President Trump said that to Hispanics? Y'all can go steal a pumpkin. What if they were black and they said it? Oh, you can go steal a pumpkin. Because, they associate Hispanics with black people. People like Joe Biden.
You ain't black.
I mean, they do it all the time. They associate black people and Hispanics together. Now, that's why it's really mind-boggling to me, because like in L.A., black people and Hispanic people fighting all the time. When people like Joe Biden associate all of them together, it doesn't make a lick of sense. But anyway, if President Trump said the exact same thing, oh my goodness, mushroom. He's racist. He said the Hispanic can go steal the pumpkin. He told him to go steal the pumpkin. The only reason why I'm bringing it up because they're a bunch of hypocrites. You know good and well. You know darn well that if President Trump said anything remotely close to that, that's exactly what they would be saying. They'd be saying that President Trump is racist. But see, Joe Brandon, he gets a pass. He gets a pass in it. So they don't say anything when he says it. Oh, that's just Joe. That's just Joe. Hey, Dora, thank you so much for the super chat on YouTube. Thank you so much for that super chat. It's really a blessing. Okay, now let me get into something that's really, really, really disturbing. Now, I started off the show tonight with something extremely positive. Extremely positive. Even though it came from McCarthy, it's still positive, right? Come on now, y'all have to agree with me. I'm not saying that McCarthy is all great, yeah, but it's still positive, and we're gonna need to hold him to his words. I hope he keeps us to his word. But anyways, let me share something with you extremely disturbing, and this completely. Now, I'm constantly, every time I wake up and I just look at the news and I'm looking at everything, for me, I see stuff in a biblical view, right? I look at everything, and I can't see everything, but the things that I do see, the stuff that pop up is biblical. Right now on the planet, or at least here in the United States of America, they may be doing this in other countries. I don't know, but maybe they are. Maybe someone that's watching in Canada right now can tell me. Y'all, they do have Trudeau there. They do have Trudeau. So I do apologize for that. It's not my fault, but they do. And I see we have people from India, people from Australia, people from Malaysia watching. Wow, this is awesome. See, I can see those statistics right now of the people from these different countries tuning in right now, watching Will Johnson. Okay, but anyways, the most disturbing part that's happening right now is how they're targeting children. We've all said this, right? And it took Disney to lose $1.5 billion before they figured, I said, well, you know what? We might need to stop doing this wokeness because we just lost $1.5 billion. But see, they're not going to stop there because they can't figure it out. Did you know right now there's this whole movement to where they're trying to say that children should be fair game to sick adults. They're trying to justify it. This is the world we live in. And you see, I said the craziness to this point here, the complete craziness. Listen to Tucker, because Tucker's actually talking about this, and people need to know what is really going on. It's extremely disturbing. Listen to this. Listen.
But it's not just the sexual mutilation of children in hospitals. This is part of a larger trend, and the trend is this. Adults crossing the line, and it has always been a bright line, into deep involvement with the sexuality of children. That has always been and must, in a civilized society, always be the most forbidden thing. It's considered unacceptable even among prison inmates. But now it seems to be growing in its prevalence. Consider the latest ad for the clothing brand Balenciaga. This was just uploaded on Instagram. As you can see, the photo shoot they're using to sell their products features a young girl holding a teddy bear in a bondage outfit.
Yeah, and you know the little girl's face is blurred out, so you can't see her face. So the Nazis out there, they say, "Oh my goodness, Will Johnson is showing a child." Because they've done that. They've done that. Oh my goodness, Will Johnson is showing a child, because they're sick. They're sick. They don't like the fact that we are addressing this story. That's what they don't like. They don't care about the fact that these kids are being sexualized. They care about the fact that we're talking about it and we don't agree to it.
Then, in case you missed the point, the photo shoot also contains this image. It shows several documents. Most of them aren't visible, but what you can see when you zoom in, and of course the point is that you see it, is a reference to a U.S. Supreme Court case called Ashcroft versus Free Speech Coalition. That case struck down a law against kiddie porn. What is this? Well, it is what it appears to be. It's an endorsement of kiddie porn, of child pornography. What else could it be? We wanted to know. So we reached out today to Balenciaga to get their explanation, and they didn't respond.
Of course they didn't. Of course they didn't respond, and they're not going to respond because they don't want to be out on Front Street. They want to do it all in the dark of night, and they want the society to accept this craziness. Just like it was in the days of Lot, just like it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the returning of our Lord Jesus Christ. What did you think it was like? Has anyone ever taken the moment, the time, just a couple seconds of like, well, what was it like during the times of Noah? What was it like during Lot? What was it like? Have you ever done that? I have. I mean, that's just me. I've done that. But now you don't need to ask. We're seeing it. It's growing and it's intensifying. It's gotten to the point to where the left is saying that because we, those of us on the right, don't accept or want to accept them sexualizing kids, they're saying that we're being hateful. There's not being hateful. Do you understand what's happening here? Everything is flipping upside down. What was once considered good is now considered evil. And what was considered evil is now considered good. This is the time we're living in. You and I, we are experiencing what the Bible told us. And I say this so many times. We're experiencing it. And it's going to intensify. And, you know, I'm constantly telling people, hey, it's going to get a lot worse. But we don't need to be afraid. We don't need to be terrified. Right? Because we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, right? We're walking through it. And they're going to do these terrible things. But you and I, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to remain strong. And not give in to this demonic stuff. We're supposed to remain strong. We are. With that said, hey, everybody. I may or may not be on tomorrow just because. But if something pop off, I will be here. Can y'all do me a favor? Can you share this video? And again, leave me a comment because this was an explosive video tonight. It really was. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you think that McCarthy is going to stand up and do the right thing? Do you? I will be releasing some videos. I'm going to release some videos of some other stuff, but I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow night. But if something pop off, I will be here. Please, can y'all share this video? Share this video. I'm extremely thankful to each and every one of you that tune in. I'm thankful to you that seek out Will Johnson because they don't let you see me. Why do you think they don't want you to see me? And you know, I've said this all the time too. Well, shouldn't it be your decision if you want to see Will Johnson, if you want to hear what Will Johnson say? Even if you don't like Will Johnson, it should still be your decision if you want to listen to me or not. It should be your decision. But there's people on the other side of it like, well, you know what? I don't like Will Johnson, so I'm going to make it to where people can't see or hear what he has to say. And all I want to do is seek the truth. But I'm thankful for each and every one of you that's not afraid to hit the share button. I'm thankful for all the blessings that you send me. I am thankful that God has used me, has given me a voice when I was younger, I was scared to use my voice. I am thankful. And I'm thankful and I'm very appreciative to every last one of you. I really am. Good night. Reality check.